Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Talking Around the Library Tree, the podcast from Lancaster University Library. My name is Andy Holgate, and I'm joined today by Ben from Haslingdon High School.
That's right. Thanks.
So Ben has been bringing pupils from Haslingdon to the library for study visit days around EPQ, which is the extended project qualification now, for quite a few years. How many years do you think you've been coming?
Oh, probably seven or eight, maybe years, something like that. Yeah,
that feels about right. Yeah. So we must be doing something right if we keep getting you back. So do you want to just explain to our listeners what it is the students are doing with an EPQ? They might not have heard about it, and why you come and visit us at Lancaster.
Yeah, so an EPQ is a sort of an A-level standard qualification. Basically, it's an independent research project. So alongside their A-level studies, students get the opportunity to pursue something that they're particularly interested in. And it typically is the sort of, in our school, it's the higher achieving students that like to do this. Some universities are very interested in them, and they're often thinking ahead to what they're going to study at university, and this is an opportunity for them to start exploring the kind of topics they're really interested in. So there's a lot of research. My job is a sort of to supervise and advise their projects, and they basically can do whatever they want in this project. My job is just to make sure that they're kind of doing it to the right standard of an A-level, and then to kind of guide them through the process and the research that is required, and they have to then produce a significant essay at the end of it. So the thought of using the university is obviously we've got access to high quality resources here, and it gives students that opportunity to do more than just sort of stick a few words into a Google search and see what comes up kind of thing. Or obviously start to use materials that university students use, that postgraduates use, and so on, that obviously we don't have a certain credibility and reliability that maybe other resources don't. Yeah. Now, a significant part, they're going to continue to do internet research. That's fine, but it makes sure they've got access to a really excellent resource here at the University Library.
Yeah. And do you think the students benefit from that when they come? Do you think they realise the quality of what they're getting when they see what the results are when they're doing their searches?
Yeah, so we do a bit of preparation work before we come. So we introduce them to the library catalogue and how to use it. So they come sort of ready to do that. And that one of the advantages of doing that is that we introduce them to the open access resources. So we sort of say, well, a lot of stuff you can't necessarily get hold of, and that's why we pay a visit on the day. But some of it you can. And so they have some understanding when they start using that of just the scale of resources available to them. And as they do that, they also start to realize how sort of, what's the word, intricate the resource, how specific the resources are when you start looking at titles of journal articles and you've not a clue what any of the words in that title mean. So it opens their mind a little bit to kind of how much stuff is out there of a high quality. And then today is about them primarily kind of collating as much information as they can. So downloading of articles, scanning chapters of books that they can then take away with them to use in their research. We have history students as well doing their history coursework today as well. So on a similar kind of process, they've got particular things. And again, what we get from them is access to primary sources. And they're upstairs working with Bob at the moment. Bob and the faculty librarians are excellent in fishing out some of the more intricate, not so easy to find. So the one searching that students use, the catalogue is excellent, but there's a whole load of other way of finding stuff in the library, and having experts to work with for a day going, oh, we found this, and could you, and just all the database, there's so much stuff. So getting to work with experts in the library, it gives students access to resources they wouldn't be able to get hold of, and it really gives them a lot of high quality material to be working with.
Oh, that's great. And I mean, from being a faculty librarian and helping out with these days, I know that we ourselves get so much from working with the young people that you guys bring, because their enthusiasm is just brilliant, and you never ever know what they're going to come with their questions, and you stood there thinking, how the hell am I going to answer that? But what we apply is our knowledge of being able to search correctly.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that young people need to kind of just park a little bit. They all think because they can use Google, they're experts at searching. And this is where we can help them. We can talk about refining things, talk about keywords and how to get things from within articles and search in databases that are specialist.
And that's in the extended project, as much as the project is about them discovering more about their particular topic, it is about developing those research skills.
Yeah.
And this is why we're fans of the extended project in terms of those students going on to university. They're going to be ahead of their peers when they go, because they're going to have developed some of these research skills and be ready to use. And, you know, they're upstairs now. And at the end of the day, there's always a real chatter from our students, because I think having come into a library of the size of a university library like this one, over 3 floors, and there's an element of just they're wide-eyed about it, because this is the first time they'll have been in a facility of this size. But for the kind of students we brought, that's exciting for them, because then it's kind of, that's what I'm going to get to do at university. I'm going to have access to a university library of this size. So they get to see kind of a little bit into their futures about what they're going to be able to be doing in a couple of years' time when they're starting their undergraduate degree.
Yeah. And I think as well, for, again, talking about their future and not just their academic future, but there is a band of research around what's called library anxiety, where first-year students walk into a university library the first time and are just completely overwhelmed with what they're faced with due to the size of the building, the amount of resources. And if you can bring students along and give them a taste today and show them this stuff, suddenly it takes away that mystique of it all. And actually, you know, it's there, they can take advantage of it, and it's not as scary as they think it is. So I think that helps us.
So we've started the day with a sort of little treasure hunt activity that I've set up, where I task them to find certain books and articles around the library. And they have to go and find the first word on a particular page in each of those books. And again, it gives them the chance to walk around the library, to learn how to navigate your way around the library. And that, as you say, it's quite a difficult thing first up, because you kind of go, they're going, well, how do I find XAV when it's XAV, and where's X and what? And then when you go through it with them, actually it's a very simple system. It's just, you need just to kind of see how it works. Once they've done that, they're now, right, I can go and find my resources, and it gives them that independence. They know they've got some confidence now to go into the library on their own, find what they need to find. And that's, you know, it's the research skills in terms of keywords and so on, but it's also just that physical, how do I find what I'm looking for? And we also do with them, we give them little techniques of, when you get to a particular shelf, you're looking for a particular book, look elsewhere on that shelf, because obviously being categorized by topic, there are going to be other books. And because, again, they're A-level students, we also say to them, right, but also look if there's multiple copies of a book nearby, because multiple copies probably means first-year set text. So that's probably the kind of resource that's sort of at the level you're at. It's a good introduction to some of the topics maybe you're wanting to explore. So again, it's just little techniques like that that builds their confidence in using something like the university library.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good example of how to prepare them for that. So I mean, just switching it back to like a school point of view, a staff point of view, do you think this type of visit does impact on the quality of EPQs that they submit? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that because in the extended project, what they're referencing resources, and we're building those skills with them, their confidence knowing they're using high quality resources. And we talk about, I talk with my students, we've got to say, well, how do we know it's high quality? So we start using words like credibility and reliability. And so, and talking about those techniques of cross-referencing resources and so on, but also that point of, if I'm reading a resource from Dr. so-and-so or Professor so-and-so from, that there's a credibility there in this resource that isn't there when I'm just looking at a blog site of Google. That, if it's in the university library, it doesn't get here by accident. It's here because it's met certain criteria in terms of its quality, in terms of its peer reviewing within what academic area. So there's a certain grown-up feeling I think it gives them of, they know they're dealing with grown-up stuff, high quality resources, and it just sort of then sets the standard, because they've only, they've been about a month into the extended project, so it then kind of sets the standard of this is what we're looking for. Now, I always say to them, Google's fine, Wikipedia's fine, it's a starting place, it gets you going.
Absolutely.
But what we do is when we set that standard is then saying, right, but the stuff you've got to be using this is what you're looking for. These are the hallmarks of these kind of things. And particularly then that open access stuff that is really important, because then they can come back to those at a later date and know they're getting that high quality stuff. And then that, when I'm asking them questions, how do you know this is good, or what are the sources that are backing up your argument here? Then they're using the right kind of information, all of which supports a high quality product that they're producing in their qualifications. Same in the history coursework, again, referencing high quality resources, having the right kind of bibliographies and footnotes is all going to help show that you've done the work.
Yeah, and we'll set them up for future university endeavours. So if you are listening to this and you are a pupil or a teacher somewhere else and you're not sure about open access resources, these are free resources that are academic quality and academic standard. They're just published for anybody to access, and you can access these through Lancaster University Library OneSearch. So if you Google that and then use a filter showing open access, you'll be able to get thousands and thousands of free articles that you as a student can use in your EPQ, your A-level coursework, or any of your other studies. So have a look at our website and go to OneSearch and then look for open access. Okay.
There's one. I was going to add one more thing, Andy. Why do we come to Lancaster? I mean, there are closer universities for us in Rosendale. We come to Lancaster. Our experience has been that the staff here have been excellent, really helpful, very accommodating. It's not the case in all university libraries, but the staff have always been, willing to give time, both in preparation for visit. Really good with the sort of, the kind of boring bits of this. There's risk assessments got to be done, but they provide the risk assessments. For me as the teacher, I need that.
Yeah.
Email communication is really good. Working with the staff on the day, we work with Andy, we work with Sophie, we work with Bob. They often have student ambassadors as well. We've got 2 working with us today again, who can give their expertise. So the welcome from the library has been really good. Students have always felt they can come in, and they like coming to the university and the wider facilities.
Yeah.
They're particularly looking forward, obviously, to lunchtime.
Of course.
And they're, whether it's Greg's or whether it's somewhere, they're all a bit amazed that this is on offer. But seriously, the welcome we get and the support we get from the library staff is excellent, which is why we keep coming every year.
That's really good to know, and we love having you guys along, and we love having EPQ students coming along to the university. We all say as staff and the team that are involved in it's some of our most rewarding days at work. So thank you for coming all, and thank you for chatting to me today. It's been really interesting, and we'll see you next time you come along.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Cheers.